Welcome back to the Bearded Console Gamer, and today, my friends, we are going to be breaking down the news that Halo Infinite is going to be doing away with mission replayability as we know it. We'll get into what's been said, who said it, what they might have meant, and how much this move is likely to affect your enjoyment of the Halo campaign. And be sure to stay tuned to the end, because it turns out that while I've been editing this video, there's been a major development in the story. But before we get into that, just a quick reminder that you should like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and try to convert your friends into my followers that I may build an army powerful enough to march through the vaunted halls of the internet and reshape them in my image. Now, the release of Halo Infinite's single-player campaign is without question one of the most highly anticipated gaming moments of the year, and I cannot wait to jump in and start exploring that Zeta Halo ring for myself. However, it's important to know going in that the game is going to be missing some key features at launch that have been a staple in the Halo series up until now, including campaign co-op, the Forge mode, and, it turns out, mission replayability. In an interview with Polygon, an unnamed Microsoft representative allegedly confirmed that main missions were not replayable, and was quoted as saying, "The post-game does give you the option to keep exploring the wider environment, but for missions like the first two, where you're not yet on the ring, you can't replay from the same save file. You'd be able to get any remaining FOBs, targets, and audio logs, but the main story missions would not repeat." Now, this is obviously a massive departure for the series, which traditionally features a mission menu which allows you to jump into any chapter of a Halo campaign at will, either by yourself or with a friend. It was always a fun and easy way for enthusiasts to explore every part of a level on every difficulty while discovering skulls and enabling various difficulty modifiers. And the most obvious reason for this departure is 343's decision to move away from the linear self-contained battle arenas that are the usual fare for Halo levels in favor of a more open world and dynamic approach. In this type of game, it's much more difficult for developers to implement a clean-cut mission system, where you can start at a defined point and follow a curated course through a level to a set goal. And that's because open-world games, by their very nature, provide a greater degree of freedom and therefore encourage exploration. The developer wants you to take a more meandering path in order to clear map areas or complete side objectives, which in turn will allow you to power up key pieces of equipment such as the Master Chief's thruster and grapple hook. With that said, let's return to the wording of the quote and see exactly what we can extract. The source starts out by stating that any collectibles such as skulls or exploration points like forward operating bases located in mission areas will be accessible in most cases once the mission is ended. So the only piece of content that will be rendered unavailable to players after that point will be the mission events themselves, which is a damn shame because by all accounts they sound crazy fun to play, and in general they sound like a return to form for Halo. However, there are said to be some notable exceptions to the rule that you can return to the scene of a mission to pick over the debris and search for collectibles. Specifically, the spokesperson goes on to say that missions like the first two, where you're not on the ring yet, won't be replayable without starting the game again. This in turn suggests that any collectible items dotted throughout these two missions will be entirely inaccessible once completed for the remainder of the game, so completionists are going to need to restart the game in order to see everything that they want to see and to find every collectible that they want to find. Regardless, we know that at least some of the main story missions in Halo Infinite won't be replayable at launch. As to how much that's going to put you out, well, that depends on how you spent your time in previous Halo games, because there's no question that this development is going to upset Halo devotees the most. This terrifying group of gamers is accustomed to the ability to repeatedly play through Halo campaign missions and experiment and explore them as if they were their own personal playgrounds, and the removal of this feature will undoubtedly cut down on the replayability element, which has been a major bonus to that community up to this date. It also makes the lack of co-op campaign at launch that little bit tougher to bear, as it means that co-op buddies are going to have to commit to another full playthrough in order to experience the main missions as a duo. That said, by the time this feature rolls out sometime in 2022, most Halo fans are going to be happy for the excuse to jump back in and start the campaign all over again. That said, the ability to replay missions at will isn't exactly a universally expected feature in most video games. So players who don't spend most of their free time single-mindedly sessioning Halo missions that they've already completed most likely won't be too bothered by the removal of the mission select menu. And as it turns out, they won't have to do without it forever anyway, because as I was editing this video, Paul Crocker, the Associate Creative Director at 343, revealed in an interview with The Verge that the ability to replay campaign missions would be added to the game sometime after launch. But sadly, I wouldn't start celebrating just yet, because it sounds like it could be some time yet before this feature is fully implemented. Crocker expanded on this himself by stating that we haven't announced a date, but that is being worked on. We want to have replay that works well, and when you have a more open game, it gets a lot trickier. So we made a decision to improve the quality of the single player campaign to ensure that as a foundation, that it is as strong as it possibly could be so that we could add the other features back in. So whilst I am definitely now nursing a mid-level grudge against 343 and Paul for the timing of this plot twist reveal, I am at least grateful that every single damn thing that I've said in this video is still relevant at launch and likely for a fair few months to follow. And on that note, I'm going to leave it there for today. Let me know what you thought about the video in the comments section below. Are you angry about the reduced emphasis on mission replayability, or are you just happy to see the franchise taken in a fresh new direction? As always, if you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and subscribe, and to hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the biggest news, reviews, and reactions from around the video gaming industry.